How's everybody doing? Oh, roadkill. There's an animal splattered on the road. Oh, sorry, you can't look at me. I'm driving. I'm putting the phone down. Okay. So, how is everybody doing this evening? It's a very beautiful evening today. Let me tell you guys what. It was the perfect weather. Nice little breeze. It's very nice. Temperature is 54 degrees. I like that temperature. It's not too cold, it's not too hot. It's just right. You know what I'm saying? No, pardon me. But today's lesson will be the Old Testament is mythology. It's not real. And I must preface this video by stating the fact that I am a Christian. I believe in Jesus. Okay. I like some stuff in the Old Testament, but I'm not a Jew. I'm not Jewish. I'm a Christian. Okay, guys, know the difference. I'm not a Jew. I don't follow the Old Testament. Why? Why do I not follow the Old Testament, guys? Because I'm not Jewish. Okay? That's why. It's not because I'm a blasphemer. Because the Old Testament is Judaism. I'm not a Jew. Therefore, I do not follow the Old Testament. Besides, it's not all mythology, just mostly mythology. Okay? Like, can donkeys really talk, guys? Where's the adults at? Where's the adults at in your room? You got grown men that believe donkeys can actually talk, and they can't tell that was just a story. They can't just tell that they was just trying to make a point. They was just trying to write a good story. Is it even a good story? It's actually a hard read. Yeah, donkey. We have talking donkeys in the Bible, guys. That's not real. Okay, a guy living aside for a fish for 3 days. Jonah living in a fish, not possible. It might be possible, actually. I take it back. It might be possible. There's been evidence that a guy lived inside of a fish for 3 days. It actually happened. But I'm pretty sure that was a made-up story. Because they forget about the other part in the book of Jonah, where there's a magical gourd. A magical gourd, like a Deku nut on Ocarina of Time, like on Zelda. You get the Deku seeds. You get the Deku seeds, and is that what they're called? It's not the Deku. What's the little seeds you get on Zelda, and you plant it, and the crazy tree grows up? Something like that happened in the book of Job. It was Jack and the Beanstalk. That's even better, guys. I said the book of Job. The book of Joel. The book of Joel essentially has like a magical beanstalk. It has a magical gourd. And it grows really fast and very magically. So I don't think that's real. And it is a really cool story. I really like the book of Jonah. I can't lie. Now that I think about it, like the book of Jonah is pretty good. There's a big storm. Everybody was afraid to die, so they all casted lots to find out who brought the evil upon the boat. And the lots did not lie when they pulled straws or casted lots. Maybe they rolled dice. However they did it, they cast the lots. And the lot fell upon, I said Joel, bro. I got my J names all messed up. I said Joe. I said Joel. I said every name but the right name. Jonah. We know the story of Jonah and the fish. This is one of those videos. Jonah and the fish. But anyway, the lot fell on Jonah. And it threw his ass off the ship. To me, that's hilarious. A dude getting tossed off the ship for bringing evil upon everybody. To me, that's hilarious. So that's a good story. I give it a grade A. 9 out of 10. Great story. Now, one of my favorite characters in the Old Testament, and he's a character, is King Solomon. I like him way better than David. Solomon is probably my favorite character in the entire Old Testament. He was the richest man to ever live, guys. King Solomon was the richest man that ever lived. Nobody ever had a mightier and greater kingdom than King Solomon. None. Leaders and rulers from all over the world came to behold his majesty and his brilliance. Okay? The Queen of Sheba famously came to visit King Solomon. People traveled from far distant countries to lay eyes upon King Solomon and his beautiful kingdom. Now, if if King Solomon was actually that famous, and he lived in about 1000 BC, approximately, supposedly, allegedly. So King Solomon lived around 1000 BC, guys. Then how come nobody wrote about King Solomon except for the Bible? Nobody. I love Solomon. I'm not hating on Solomon, guys. I want to compare him to Superman. I like Superman too, but he's kind of an Uncle Tom at the same time. Like, Superman's a great character, but he's always working for the government. Like, what is wrong with you, bro? You could, like, take the whole planet over, and you're over here working for the Epstein class. Like, how does Superman make any sense at all? And then he's all get bent out of shape over a human woman, Lois Lane. I'm been with every Tom, Dick, and Harry already. Well, whatever. I'm not talking about Superman today, guys. I'm just saying Superman's not fucking real. But Solomon, the most famous king ever, supposedly. But nobody ever wrote about him except for the authors of the Bible. How come all the Greek historians never wrote about King Solomon or King David? Nobody wrote about either of them. But Solomon was the richest man ever. Surely there must be some Greek accounts by the great Greek historian Herodotus, the father of history. He wrote about everybody. He wrote about the Egyptians. He wrote about the Phoenicians. He wrote about everybody. He didn't write about King Solomon. I was looking for it too. For years and years and years, I've been reading like all the ancient Greek historians. Like, I remember the first time I read Herodotus decades ago, right? I'm like, where's the Israelites at? I thought for sure I missed it. I was doing word searches. I was typing in Jew, Israelite, Hebrew. Nothing was coming up. It's like, oh man. It's like they didn't even exist. Like it was all made up. But yeah, so Solomon is a character that was made up for the Bible. That's a made up character, guy. Unless he was a pharaoh. And I've heard many pseudo historians / scholars, archaeologists, whatever. I've heard so many people try to identify a pharaoh as being King David, or they're like, oh, this pharaoh right here is David, his son of Solomon, and it doesn't make any sense, guys. They're just making it up. They want to be cool. They want to be the one. I figured out who Solomon was. Solomon did exist. The Bible's not lying. No, maybe the Bible isn't lying. Maybe back in the day, everybody knew it was made up. And it's like, they would have thought you was ridiculous if you believed it. That's what I'm starting to think. But my favorite book in the Old Testament is Ecclesiastes. Supposedly written by King Solomon. But the book probably dates to like 200 BC. There's no evidence of that book. The oldest evidence you have for anything in the Old Testament is the Dead Sea Scrolls. Like literally, guys, like literally 200 BC max. All right, so yeah, and that's very unfortunate because I love Solomon, guys. I really do love King Solomon. I wanted to find the lost mines of King Solomon, find all his gold. You know, I want to find that's some, you know, some out of an Indiana Jones movie, guys. We're going to go on a goddamn expedition, and we're going to find King Solomon's lost mines, and we're going to get rich. We're going to find all kind of magical amulets, and you know, we'll get all the good jewelry. All right, all the rubies and jewels. But unfortunately, it probably doesn't exist. It's about as real as the city of El Dorado, the lost city of gold. It's about as real as Atlantis. And actually, guys, Atlantis is what started this whole thing for me. It all started, my journey into schizoism and whack jobdom. You know, just being interested in the ancient mysteries and the ancient history. It all started with me as wanting to find Atlantis. I'm not going to lie, guys. I think I watched DuckTales or something. I watched DuckTales and I got the gears in my brain moving, and I wanted to go discover Atlantis. I wanted to be like Indiana Jones and go find the Holy Grail. And that's what I found, the Holy Grail. I did. I found it, guys. I found it. So, I'm going to go back to my original point. I'm almost at my destination. So this is not going to be a very long video this evening. I'll just continue to focus on Solomon and appreciate his greatness. And I can understand, even if Solomon was not real, he's still a pretty good character. All right. Like I said, Ecclesiastes is my favorite book in the Bible. The older I get and the more sophisticated I become, I'm either becoming more sophisticated or more retarded. It's either one of the two, or those things might be one and the same. You know what I'm saying? But I really like the Song of Solomon. I really do, because I'm into poetry. I love poetry. I like reading poetry, especially in different languages. All right, and there is some good poetry in the Bible. We'd be alive we said there was not. The Song of Songs might actually be one of the best poems ever written. I gotta be honest with you guys. Okay, I like Jew stuff. You got me. But guess what? Solomon was the wisest man ever. But according to the Bible, he stopped worshiping Yahweh. He stopped worshiping the God of the Jews. And there is no account in the Bible of when he continued to worship Yahweh. It never said he repented. They try to say he wrote Ecclesiastes in his old age after when he repented. It never said that. And the name Yahweh never appears in the book of Ecclesiastes, guys. The name Jehovah, Yahweh, Yahweh, Jupiter, whatever you guys call him. All right, he's all through the Bible. He's all through the Torah. He's all through Deuteronomy, Leviticus. His name's on every page in the book of Exodus. Guess what? Yahweh's name is not in the book of Ecclesiastes. It just has the Aramaic or Hebrew word for God, which is El. You can say Allah. You can say Allah. People say it different ways. Whatever. Allah, Eloah, El. It's all the same. Okay, that's the name of God in the book of Ecclesiastes. And the Song of Solomon. I do not believe Yahweh is in the Song of Solomon. He is not in every book in the Old Testament. A lot of you guys don't know what's going on. So a lot of you guys do know what's going on. And the more of us that knows what's going on, the better. All right? And then we can get all this Jew stuff out of our lives once and for good. And then we might actually be starting to make some progress. And that'd be the healing of the nations, the healing of the world. Heal the world, make it a better place. For you and for me and the entire human race. Shout out to Michael Jackson, the golden child. You know what I'm saying? Michael Jackson was the most famous person since Jesus. Michael Jackson, goddamn. So how can you be racist with people like Michael Jackson? But all black folk don't act like Michael Jackson. I understand, guys. I understand. But everybody likes Michael Jackson. I guarantee you, bro, you could hear Billie Jean 1,000 billion times. When Billie comes on the radio unexpectedly, because it just comes on at random times, you be walking down the street, Billie just get hit, dum 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 dum. And as soon as that beat hits, my leg starts twitching. It's hard for anybody to make their leg not twitch when Billie Jean come on. You just want to start dancing. Okay? So yeah, I like Michael Jackson. He's a little weird. May Jesus forgive his soul. Or whatever, something like that. Do some Jesus stuff on him, fix him. That's what I'm praying. And I think that's it, y'all. You got a 13-minute, 14-minute long video from me today. I just thought I'd bring up the fact, there's no proof that King Solomon existed. No Greek historian wrote about him. The Greek historians wrote about everybody. Like, there's no historians that wrote about Solomon. And he's supposed to be the most famous king in history. You gonna tell me the most famous, richest king in history didn't exist? That doesn't make sense. Everybody should have written about him. There should be Egyptian accounts of him. There should be Greek accounts of him. There should be Roman. I know the Romans came a little later, but they should have later accounts of him. There should be the statues of Solomon everywhere, monuments. Ain't nothing. It don't exist. Nobody wrote about him. The only people that wrote about Solomon are the authors of the Bible. And they probably wrote that at the Library of Alexandria during the Hasmonean period. All right, that's just facts, guys, because I think they made Solomon up. Unfortunately, he's a really good character, let's be honest.